Okay, business is picking up. Welcome back. Let's get right into unlocking Thane Chapter 6. Nullifying the cut. Ah, the V-Hall. What a place to spend your days. You know, waking up here again, it really struck me what this place represented. This was the Duat headquarters. I mean, it's not like everything important about the Duats were there. In fact, to the Duat's credit, most important things are stored separately. Still, for all intents and purposes, this was Duat HQ. This was where people met up. It was right out in the open. It wasn't like a secret or something. I mean, if you asked your average passerby, sure, they wouldn't be able to tell you where the Duat HQ was. But if you looked into it, you could definitely locate this place. Locate it without much trouble, for that matter. It's not like most Duat members were exactly built for subtlety. The Panthean police force absolutely knew about this place. And yet what was being done? Nothing. This place was allowed to stand tall just as a public base for a gang. Was this not the city implicitly endorsing the presence of the Duats? Their rule? Maybe I was being overdramatic. I felt like I also had a good point in there somewhere. I shook my head. Oh well. Not like this was teaching me anything I didn't already know. You couldn't trust most people to do more than live their lives. That's why you needed people like me. I made my way right into the front entrance of the V-Hall. What's up, Thane? To speak the name of the dead is to make him live again. Okay, not in a chatty mood today, I get it. Without another second of hesitation, I continued into the building. I knew the drill now. I knew how to walk with confidence. Thane might have been an uncomfortable role not too long ago, but at this point I was feeling pretty confident in my ability to pull him off. Things had gone well so far. Many of the things I feared might happen hadn't come to rest. The real Thane never came back for vengeance. The secret contact Thane had never became a problem. I had been inventing issues, seeing phantoms where there were none to be had. At this point, I was borderline cocky that my identity wasn't in jeopardy. Case in point, coming to the V-Hall today. Functionally speaking, there wasn't much reason to. True, he had called me over for a casual meeting. But that had outs. I could say I wasn't feeling well, make an excuse, blow him off. Not like it's the Thane act now, it having largely served its purpose. But instead, without a stated purpose in mind when coming here, I decided to go and meet up with Yi. That's where the trouble starts. This complacency, actions without purpose, that's where I start to lose myself. I made sure to remind myself of that as I entered the V-Hall. It's easy to be cocky in the abstract. When you're back in enemy territory, a mere mask standing between you and death, that previously built confidence starts to slip away. As I looked around the hall, I noticed that there weren't many people around. One side of the building, I spotted Lara. She was talking with 3 other Duat members, one of which I vaguely recognized. In the middle of the room, Zhao Qi and Xia were standing around, also in conversation. In terms of Duat members in the main area, that was about it. Which, okay, I guess that doesn't have to be a surprise. There wasn't a meeting happening, no particular reason to be at home base. Still, even for a casual day, this felt light. To a lot of Duat members, the V-Hall is like a second home of sorts. Oh well. Chalk that up to luck on my part. I looked around and quickly noticed something. Yi wasn't around. Correction, Yi wasn't around yet. I had probably gotten here early, or elsewise Yi had gotten caught up with something else. Well, no biggie. I just killed some time. Walked around the main hall, somewhat aimlessly. Soon I got within earshot of Zhao Qi and Xia. I had no desire to actually join their conversation. Felt like a minefield that was easily avoidable on my part. Still, I wanted to hear what they were talking about. Simple curiosity, that. So suddenly, I kept pacing awkwardly and began to listen in. Here's hoping neither man would notice me and call me over. It seems they were in bit too involved in their conversation to notice me. Win for me, as far as I was concerned. Look, Jia, you're freaking out for nothing. It's Jia we're talking about. You know how she is. I do. That's why I know this isn't normal. I mean, blowing me off, ignoring me, yeah, that's normal. Going MIA for a bit? Normal as well, sure. It's been way too long for that. This isn't her going on a bender. This is her going missing. Oh. Now look who's an overprotective brother. This isn't that, asshole. I'm actually fucking worried. Worried about what? What, you think someone got the jump on her? How likely is that? Anything's possible. Okay, yeah, true. Let me rephrase. You think that's something that's gonna happen in Panthea nowadays without us knowing? The city's been Duat turf for a while, me compadre. We've got ears everywhere. If something happened with Jia, we'd have heard it. I mean, if it was just normal something, yeah. What's that mean? Jia has been acting just weird lately. I'm seeing her less and less. She got really defensive about some things. Even caught her hanging out with Lara once or twice. Uh-oh. So what? Think Lara had something to do with this? I just think there might be something more to her being missing. And I think he might be overly sensitive. Kick rocks. I wanted to keep listening in on this conversation. However, at this point, somebody opened one of the doors to the main area. Seems like Yi was, in fact, here already. Must have just been busy with Duat work. Not out of character for him. Quickly, he pegged me standing in the middle of the room. I simply nodded at him and began making my way over to him. Yi just stayed where he was, leaning against the wall, waiting for me. For too long, I'd approached him. Ah, Thane. How you been, buddy? How's life treating you? I've been fine. Fine, huh? Fine's good. If somebody was fine all the time, they'd have lived an above-average life, I'd think. I disagree. If somebody was only ever fine, they wouldn't be able to appreciate it. Happiness only derives meaning from sadness. Oh, how true, how valid. How oddly philosophical of you, Thane. You keep calling me a robot. I don't think it's fair. So I've decided to try and show more my thoughtful side. He made an expression like I had just told a very funny joke. Yes, do that. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Anyways, made any progress on looking for Locke? Simply shook my head. Ah, yeah. Sad to say it's the same for me. This whole Locke thing is total BS. Fake name, fake story, fake identity, the whole thing. Still, so long as the man intends to operate in Panthea, he'll probably keep the identity, unaware of the degree to which he's under investigation. Duat intelligence never fails. Next time he pops up, we'll know. And this time I won't miss. Huh, right. About that night. A serious expression clouds over Yi's face. If I didn't know better, I'd say I could sense a bit of suppressed rage coming from him. It's good we're over here. I want to, before anything else, just talk to you about this face-to-face. Before things have to go beyond that. I didn't like several of the phrases Yi just dropped. About this? Oh, right. Say me, you don't know what I'm talking about. Well... He scratched the back of his neck, taking a moment to breathe. Got a report from Seth not too long ago. It was about the investigation of the Secretary Ganny murder. He's keeping you in the loop? Of course. That's what he's here for. I just nodded. Anyway, he's informed me of a very peculiar little piece of information. Directly at the crime scene, right by Ganny, there was a burned cigarette left there. Seth hasn't done forensics on it for obvious reasons. Based on the brand of smoke and surrounding context, it seems pretty damn likely that the cigarette was mine. Wait, they found one of your cigarettes at the crime scene. That's bad. Of course they didn't find one of the cigarettes. That's what Seth's for. He handled it. Oh, right. So there's no problem. Not with the police, at any rate. That's good. That's the Yi, this sounds too close for comfort. I've gone sloppy thinking something like that about. You're gonna out yourself because of that. I didn't. Obviously, you didn't intentionally. You know, smoking is a compulsion. You are going to out yourself if for another reason than is just pissing off ye. Must have been an absent-minded thing. We just accused Lara instead. At this, ye let out a little chuckle. You know, at first that's what I thought too. I was cursing at myself, wondering how I could be so dumb. Then I remembered. I didn't bring any cigarettes that night. In fact... Made a point of bitching about forgetting to bring them. I remember complaining to you about that. That's right. Shit. Please don't let this be going where I thought it was going. It doesn't make any sense. You're right, Thane. Doesn't make sense. I didn't bring any cigarettes. How did one of mine get there? That seems downright impossible. Unless... Shit. Somebody brought one of my used cigarettes. Unless a trusted ally of mine decided to deliberately plant that cigarette in a half-baked plot to try and get me in hot shit. If that were the case, well, that would be straight-up active betrayal. Shit. Ye? That bitch Lara. Whew. That bitch Lara. Should have seen it coming, honestly. Damn her. I shook my head disapprovingly. Honestly, what offends me the most is just how paper-thin her attempt was. It's kind of natural that her suspicion would go there, because she did kind of turn up out of the blue. I mean, a cigarette? Seriously? Did you really think that wouldn't get noticed by Seth? Super obvious piece of evidence wouldn't get intercepted by my contact. How dumb is she? Yeah, she really is clueless, huh? Yeah, she sure is. Just goes to show the difference between her and us two. God, it's so annoying. Like, looking back at that night, it's so obvious. And I thought it was fishy from the start. Marduk made her come. What a load of horse shit. We all know how she is. She can twist that dude around a little with a finger. She really didn't want to slum it up with us. She easily could have avoided it. No, when she came here, she already had that cigarette on her. She was planning on pinning some shit on me from the beginning. The whole time, she intended on the frame job. I mean, the nerve. The nerve indeed. Just, unbelievable. You know what this means, right? Nodded solemnly, not knowing what you meant. We've got to accelerate things. If she's pulling moves like this, that means she's also acknowledged the reality of things. This is war. Unfortunately, like most optics, there's optics against being the ones who fire the first shot. And the cigarette thing. He shrugged. It's a little weak as proof. Can't be explicit quite yet. Man, the moment an opportunity presents itself, I just nodded again. She's a problem. That said, I trailed off. Wanted to get the conversation going in a different direction. To do this, I'd have to try and pull off something a little tricky. Still, I thought it worth the attempt. B. I've been having doubts. Oh boy. Doubts. Doubts about what? About this whole thing. This whole Duat thing. Oh boy. Whoa. Take it easy, Thane. Where's this coming from? My man, you're acting a fool right now. No. In some ways, you know, I feel like it's always been inevitable that I'd get to where I am. I'd be a Duat member. I haven't really stopped to think about things for a long while. The other day with the Gani thing. Seeing Aja grieve like that. He nodded sagely. Ah, I see now. Running into some trouble with the old mental separation thing. I'll get over it, I'm sure. Like, I'm not like I'm going to turn over a new leaf, dedicate my life to the Lord or anything. Still. It's weird. Never had a problem with the killing itself. Just the way of things. We're all mortals. We can all be killed. We can all kill. It was, to put it in a word, fair to kill someone. Seeing Aja grieve over Gani's death, someone I didn't even mean to kill, I shook my head. I don't know. It's been a while since I saw something like that. It was just a reminder how unfair death really is. I don't just hurt the people I hurt. I hurt the people connected to them. Every bullet I fire, it ripples through the sea of people. Okay, you really are showing your philosophical side. That's not fair. I suppose doxastic anxiety has some truth. Doxastic anxiety? Ah, well, I fear I might fall down a rabbit hole of digression if I try to explain myself too thoroughly. How to summarize it? Basically, doxastic anxiety is the fear of knowledge. Fear of knowledge? Fear might be too strong a word. It's more subconscious than that. Like, you know how vegans always go off on how horrible animals are treated for the sake of meat eaters? You know that they're probably right, but you try not to actually think about it too much or seek out that information for yourself because you're afraid that if you do, you have to stop eating meat. You really don't want to stop eating meat because meat's pretty fucking good. It's like that. You don't want to know how the sausage is made. It's a subconscious desire to not acquire or focus on information that contradicts your current lifestyle. It crops up in all sorts of walks of life. Most people have tons of doxastic anxiety. Deliberately going against those anxieties. Trying to learn information you might not like. Some people have coined that as doxastic courage. They assign some sort of moral worth to the mere act of acquiring knowledge. The idea of that being that even if everything you do is the most moral it can be, matters less than if that's not an informed decision. Whoa. That seems confusing. Yeah, that's a lane of discussion that gets deep quickly, and I find prone to logical recursions, but that's neither here nor there. Honestly, doxasm as a whole topic of study is quite fascinating. There's also doxastic logic, a form of logic that incorporates people's beliefs into their logical operations. Doxastic logic has different types of reasoners and different levels of rationality. It also proposes counterparts to both Gödel's incompleteness theorem of metalogic, and Loeb's piano arithmetic. Sorry, see, this is what I'm talking about. I've got a nasty habit of tangents, and to be honest, I could talk about this particular subject for quite a while. I am intrigued. Focusing. Okay, so you're struggling with the morality of it all again. Pretty much. Have you struggled with this for a while? No, not really, just a bit. Okay, then. Yeah, I'd say that's natural. It is? God knows I've had these struggles, but I always ended up settling on the fact that it doesn't really matter. I'm sure you'll end up there, too. It doesn't really matter. Look around, Thane. Look around at any public place. You know what you'll see. Or at least what I'll see. What? I'll see humans, for sure. But no humanity. That's just how we are as a species. We like to think that they're better than criminals. More moral. What a load of crap. And I'm not so nihilistic to say that genuinely good people don't exist. Sure, there are a couple of defects. By and large, the fact that most people don't end up where we are is a combination of fear and complacency. People say that murder is amoral. I can guarantee you that if you put the most people in a position where murder was the most sensible choice, they'd kill. You can tell because whether you can see humans acting immorally, in ways they can get away with, they absolutely will. History is filled with evidence. Think it's a coincidence slavery was so widely adopted? It wasn't different times. There were plenty of people who knew and argued just how immoral it was centuries ago. The reason it persisted then was because people were fine with it. It was allowed. Things on that front have never really changed. I mean, do you... Actually, this comparison won't work. I highly doubt you follow celebrity gossip. Correct. Let's take it on faith that the percentage of people who, when given any amount of power, usually become complete creeps is incredibly high. Not just the people we know about, the ones dumb enough to get caught. What's that say? That people willing to abuse power are more likely to seek it out? See, that explanation would have held more water long ago. Maybe it's partially true. But in the modern era, people can accidentally become popular at the drop of a hat. People who don't even want to become powerful can become icons thanks to the monolith that is the internet. And look at these people. There's no change in trends. So again, what's that say? That so many people are secretly assholes? I'd argue that's a much darker interpretation. No. It's proof that pretty much anybody will become just as fucked if you gave them power. That every human is really fucked, they just hide it. They just never have good opportunities to express it. Give any one of them a ring of gauges, and you'll see what I mean. Even when you think about it from an evolutionary perspective, it still makes sense. Working with a community, pretending to be family, yeah, that's useful. But ultimately looking after yourself? And sure as shit bet that's an evolutionary trait useful to pick up. From Hobbes to Zunzi, philosophers have been saying it for centuries. We're all fucked deep down. Maybe give a few dollars to charity to make yourself feel better. Dollars that really don't do anything. Maybe there's the rare case of an actual angel who escaped the secret demon trait the rest of us got. By and large, Thane, none of us are good. So just embrace it. The pain you cause is unfair. The world's unfair. Everyone's playing a personal game in life, looking out for number one. You'd just be like the rest of them. I nodded. That makes some sense. Surprisingly, that wasn't a lie. As much as I hated Yi, I couldn't deny that I resonated with a good bit of his spiel. Certain parts showed clear traces of being warped by Yi, but on the whole, that's what I fall back on when I start getting doubts. That or something. He stopped and took out his phone. Must have buzzed with a notification or something. Ah. What? Nothing, just, Hey, could you give me a minute? There's something I need to look over. Go ahead. Thank you. I'll get back to you soon. This just might be important. And like that, he turned around. Walked back to the room he had come in from. Just like that, I was alone again. Wonder what that was about. Well, whatever. Guess I just have to kill some time. I heard some laughter coming from nearby. It was Lara and her group. All of a sudden, I got the strange urge to join them in the meantime. It was probably dumb. Yet I found myself walking in their direction. And what'd you do after that? What'd I do, Hal? Are you kidding me? Got the hell out of there. I solicited another bout of laughter. When I think at this point I had well fulfilled my civic duty. Leave the rest of the night between the mechanic, the capybara, and God. Paid my tab and got the hell out of there. I'm sure this would have been hilarious had I had context. But at this point, Lara noticed my presence. Her face instantly soured. Couldn't exactly blame her for that, but I still felt slightly offended. Oh. Look who it is, guys. Thane, the party animal. You decide to join us? I nodded. Huh. That's weird. You guys just looked like you were having fun. How sweet. So you decided to kill some time by hanging out with us while you waited for Yi to finish ignoring you with work? Yeah. Huh. He's honest, you have to give him that. Do you have a problem with that? I don't know, Thane. You tell me. you think of any reason why I'd feel uncomfortable in your presence? I stood motionless for a second. Then I nodded. Still, we're co-workers. Can't see why we can't put aside hostilities for some casual conversation. I'm just trying to be amicable. Hey, I can do amicable. I'm super open to being friendly. You just don't seem like the type. What can I say? I'm mysterious. You can say that again. You either seem to be warming up to my presence slightly. However, this was interrupted by the sound of a door being opened violently. He exited the room he came from. He did so with a smile that he couldn't quite hide. Instantly, he began walking over to me. No, not me. Lara. Hey, everybody. Got some news to show. Might want to see this. Zhao and Xia took this as a cue to also gather up. What are you doing, Yi? What am I doing? I'm just trying to inform everyone of the current situation. Most importantly, I'm trying to inform you. Inform me? You, what's going on? Relax, Thane. Just watch. Things become apparent soon. Before anyone could say another word, Yi held out his phone. He held it sideways with the phone showing a video player. Taking a moment to be sure everyone could see it, I pressed on the phone screen. Then the video began to play. And on the screen was somebody I didn't expect to see at all. Oh, hello, Odin. Is this the will? I, Odin Daespa, am of sound mind and body as I record this video. As you can see, I am currently in my study. Perhaps you can see a rather important document behind me. Sure enough, behind Odin on the table, I could make out a fancy-looking document. Much of it was illegible, but I could see enough of it to know what it was. It was a will. That document is the discussion of this video. Art, Polly, as my two sons work at my company, as the two people I consider my inheritors, I am sending you this video. Because what I am about to say concerns you both. I have always been fair. You all should get to know this ahead of time. Frankly speaking, I have found you both lacking. Well, Polly, I don't even need to justify myself. I don't know why you've recently been pulling this well-adjusted act, and frankly, I don't give a damn. The most obvious defects that you've been polishing over are not the reasons you are unfit to follow in my footsteps. You are utterly lacking in business acumen, diligence, and ruthlessness. And because of that, you fail. But Art, this is the one that saddens me. You were so close, Art. So close. However, as of late, I cannot help but view you as equally unworthy. You mimic my actions, son, but you lack my spirit. You can play an ode to my greats, but you lack the ability to play them as they once were. You are not as intelligent as you think you are, Art. You see the forest with the trees, lacking any perception of a larger picture, a grander vision. Simply put, you lack spirit. Art, Polly. I deem neither of you my successor. So then who shall I pass my legacy on to? Well, none are fit to actually succeed me. However, there is one individual I have been consistently impressed with. Though lowly in station, she has great ability, greater ability than I had ever even first recognized. Had she been my daughter from the start, well, who's to say? I suspect she may have put both of you to shame. And so in equal parts punishment to you, too. For your sloth and reward to her ambition, I name Lara Naomi my successor. Upon my death, she'll be willed my stocks in a limbo, equaling a 25% stake in the company. That is not up for debate. It is already written. I'm sorry, Art, Polly. I'm sorry you couldn't live up to what you were meant to be. Of course, the dead have no need for stocks. I am far from wasteful. As any intelligent man would do, I added a proviso to my will. Should Lara die before me, that line of the will shall become null and void. Distribution of my stocks will default back to the initial arrangement I had decided upon. 20% to Art, 5% to Polly. So then do with that what you will. Should Lara die? Just like that, the video abruptly ended. Just like that, all of us were in shock. Lara, however, was quick to realize what this video might mean for her. No idea why that's the case, but, As she spoke, Lara began quickly walking away from the group towards the exit of the V-hall. It looked like she was about to break into a sprint away at any second. He, for his part, simply calmly bent down. Then he reached underneath his right pant leg. In a sudden motion, he pulled out a pistol he had stored away. Hey, where are you going, Lara? We need to discuss this video, don't you think? Lara's face flashed with fear, Yee's with a grin. Both knew where this discussion would soon go. Time to break the flow. Yee, you carry a pistol? What? Fucking of course I do. How do you not know that? I don't know. Usually brandish that short sword knife thing. I thought that had you covered on the whole weapons front. Not at all. You know there's a good saying about that. Those who live by the blade die by the hands of those who don't. Ah. Anyway, as senior officer, I get to bring actual weapons into the V-Hall. It's like a waste not to abuse that. Anyways, I've gotten way off the point. Lara, I know your natural instincts to fight, but this is big news. The message accompanying this was also pretty big. So unfortunately, you have to stay around for just a bit longer. Got it. Lara hated this with every fiber of her being, I could tell. But she also didn't have much of a choice. Yeah, so... Obviously, Art isn't super happy with this development. You know, Actually, you know what? Lara, would you mind taking a seat before we continue? Is that a choice? I mean, everything you do is a choice in kind. Lara's face flushed with equal parts anger and fear. Ultimately, she relented. She walked over to a nearby chair and sat down. Awesome. And then, just like for a little super sure safety. Why don't we just tie Lara up, just to be sure? The hell? Really? Sure, was standing nearby, put his hands on Lara, keeping her down. Zauchi, for his part, immediately went rushing away, likely looking for an implement to do the tying up. First, Lara began to struggle with Sha, trying to get up. He basically succeeded before realizing that Yi still had his gun out. He still had it trained on her. She understood what further resistance would get her. She sat back down, reluctantly. The other Duat members watched this unfold at a distance. It was clear that they were none too happy with these proceedings. However, they also weren't going to interfere at this very moment. And me? I was Thane. Stone-faced I stood, with my arms crossed. Eventually, Zauchi came back. With a bit of difficulty, he managed to tie Lara to the chair. Then he and Sha backed away. Is this really necessary? Lara was trying to put on the airs of casual annoyance. Most probably bought it, but I could see that in reality she was just as scared as before. Probably not. I trust you to have the Duat's interest in mind. But you can't be too sure. You've got a tendency to get emotional. Don't want you acting out. Fuck you. What was Art saying? Right. So to those who don't know, this is supposed to be something of a secret, but at this point the cat's sort of out of the bag. Art keeps us on his payroll for some pretty big bucks. It also keeps Olimpo to themselves, so we can keep to ourselves. Maintaining this relationship, to put it lightly, is extremely important. You could even call it crucial to the Duat's survival. Do we understand that? Yi took a moment to let his words rest. Good. So now obviously the video has caused a rift between the Duats and Art. He has, to put it lightly, questions as to why Odin is granting this stock to Lara. He doesn't believe this to be just some accident. He cannot stand for this stock falling into the wrong hands. As far as he sees this, Lara convincing Odin to wheel him the stock is an act of war. The question is it war by a rogue individual, or by the Duats? To help us answer that question, he's provided us with the carrot and the rod. If we dispose of Lara before Odin passes, nullifying the clause, he has offered us an incredibly generous offer. One that goes beyond pure cash. It's a multifaceted proposal. Dispose of? Hold on, what's gonna... Alternatively... If we refuse to follow through on this offer, Art will not take this lightly. He will view that as an act of war by the Duats. And while he still controls Olimpo, he will use the full force of it to see us crumble. Now we got some decent leverage back at him. I'm not saying that Olimpo can crush us like bugs. Honestly, Olimpo's got a lot more to fear from us than we have to fear from them. So that's comment, elicited a bit of cheering from Zauchi and Sha. But Odd isn't being rational. He isn't thinking about the best thing for this company. The sad fact is, if we piss off Olimpo, that is going to cause problems. It will take a toll. We will pay a price. Which leads us to a choice. A choice? What fucking choice? Are you seriously thinking about killing a Duat member because some rich fuck said so? Is that the Duat spirit? I'm a senior officer, this is how you're treating me? What a joke! But I don't know, Lara. That depends. Oh, are you just an innocent Duat member? Huh? Why did Odin give you that stock? Just chance? That doesn't seem very likely. I don't fucking know. The man's insane. Oh, so this is just the act of a madman, huh? It certainly isn't a plot by me. What crazy conspiracy shit are you on, Yi? Well, if this was the only evidence, this would surely sound ridiculous. But you know there's other evidence that you've been plotting things. Rallying special Duat members to your side. And sitting on this evidence because, well, I had no proof. But this? Is this really the track you want to go down? Because, buddy, you're not the only one who has some shit to tell. We're talking about disloyal Duat members. And why would we believe anything you have to say? What? These things you have to say, do you have any corroborating evidence? Because without any of it, given the current situation, it would likely seem like you are just making things up in a desperate ploy. Anybody with eyes can see that you are scared for your life right now, and acting irrationally. I don't think any claims that you make right now would hold much water. Lara's face was pure hatred. Understandably, but she couldn't respond to that. Well said, Thane. Well said. Look, I don't give a shit about the shares. I'll give them up. It doesn't have to be like this. Give them up? Give what up? Lara, you don't have shares to give away yet. You'll only do that once they're in your possession, after Odin dies. And who knows what position everything and everyone will be in then. Who knows if you'll actually give them up then? What a load of shit! I think. He turned to look at everyone. It was pretty obvious what he wanted right now. This was the perfect chance. The power struggle of theirs could be ended right here, right now. But, fortunately for him, there were other Duat members present. Ones with pretty strong Lara sympathies. He couldn't just kill them all. If he made a unilateral decision right now, one without proper justification, word would spread. People would grow discontent. It probably didn't help that I had yet to do anything to really endorse his actions so far. He feared the backlash would focus on him. That Thane would end up getting the Duat headship, being the only viable candidate among the senior officers left. Simply put, optics prevented him from sealing the deal. So he was caught. That I should report this to Marduk. He leads the Duats. He should get to make the final decision. Fine. I trust Marduk's decision-making. He'll see through this obvious bullshit. Lara said this, but I could tell she was unsure. She was right to be unsure. I also thought there was a pretty decent chance he'd rule alongside Yi, especially if he was the one who got to spin the story. Marduk had established Olimpo sympathies. He was the one who wanted the Duats to avoid going to war with Olimpo. Right. It seems we are decided. So I'm just going to head into his office, give him the scoop. You just stay right here, okay, Lara? We'll be back with our decision shortly. Yi looked over to Zauchi and Sha. Make sure she stays put. Of course. With that, Yi began walking over to Marduk's office. Lara was tied up and unable to do much. Zauchi and Sha stood on either side of her chair. Neither had weapons. They were proven fighters. Nobody would really want to take them on in these conditions. And the others. They grouped up, out of earshot of Zauchi and Sha. Clearly they were having their own discussion, deciding how to handle things, whether or not to intervene. Please! Reconsider what you're doing here. This isn't rational. You're being swept up in the moment. Surely there are better solutions than this. You're being taken advantage of. Shut up! Zauchi smacked Lara in the back of the head. Think about what you're doing. All of you. Put politics aside. Personal feelings, your desire to rise up in the ranks, everything like that. Just put it aside and think. Look at what's happening right now. I'm a Duat member. Us Duats are supposed to be a family. One blood. Our only allegiance is to each other. Except I guess not. Look at how eager Yi was to go along with someone else's request to have me killed. Go along with Art Desma. Isn't he like the antithesis of what this place is supposed to be like about? And we're listening to him. Look at how quickly Yi threw me under the bus. What does it say about him? If he's willing to do this to me, what's to say he won't do it to you? If being a Duat member doesn't protect you, what sort of precedent is that setting? What path is this creating? I know we've had our differences. Please, everyone, think about this. We're all humans. I'm another human. That morality has never, been our thing here. We've had one oath. Stick together. Strength in numbers. Duats never die. If you kill me now, that last shred, that one oath is broken. If you do that, you are truly hopeless. You have no borders, no conscience. You're a moral monster, the type kids are warned about. None of you should want to be that. None of you are. There's a difference between being a criminal and a villain. This is the difference. If you keep yapping, I'm gonna get ye. With Zouchi's last threat, Lara went silent. For my part, I just paced around, thinking, what should I do? What could I do? On the face of it, the answer was obvious. Nothing. Simple as that, I just do nothing. I mean, this was what I wanted, right? Cause schisms among the Duats. This was the fucking schism. If things play out, a minor civil war was likely to start. That sure as hell seemed like a ground bed for opportunities. I could just let Yi do the work for me. Then, anything I did do to try and stop the current events would obviously blow the Thane character for good. Be danger for no reason. I didn't owe Lara anything, not really. I barely knew her, grand scheme of things. She was a gang member, a criminal. She asked for this life, got into it with 2 eyes open. This was the risk she assumed. Maybe she didn't deserve death. But you couldn't call her a good person, not really. I didn't need to do anything. If I was smart, I shouldn't do anything. But Lara's words resonated around my skull. Did I not, at least in name, act for justice? Is there not some element of making a better world, tearing down a worse one, in my actions? I would never kid myself into thinking I was a great person. But did I not at least think myself a good one? In the past, the suffering I had brought about was always in the name of something better. People who got hurt deserved it, or at least had knowingly brought some part of that pain upon themselves. The actions I did were my only real choice, when you thought about it. I did them for some sense toward the greater good. Those excuses, they didn't really hold up here. None of them really did. Letting Lara die here was a bad thing to do. I have a way to get her free. Letting Lara die didn't really serve the greater good, or even my good. Thinking about it some more, sure, having Lara die here would cause schisms. When you thought about it some more, having her live out of this situation would probably cause schisms just as well. If she died, power would be maintained by Art. Why was I doing Art's dirty business for him? Actually, thinking a few steps ahead, Lara could then used. Okay then. This didn't need to be a moral choice. Not anymore. Because with a bit of thought, saving Lara actually happened to be the perfect opportunity for me. It was in my self-interest. So I didn't have to make a hard decision. I just had to make an easy one. So now, how to actually get Lara away? What was an advanced plan? It'd probably work. With the starters, in the name of time, I did a bit of pre-pro. Walked over to a spare sheet of paper sitting on some table. Quickly jotted something down. Then tore some of the paper and stuffed it in my pocket. Great. Now to start the actual escape attempt. Kept my casual pacing. Just alter the directions a bit. Don't rush. I had time. Slowly. Now. Just walking by the other group of Duat members. Alright, not right next to them, but close enough. These were all Lara supporters. They should be willing. He walked by, spoke in a very low voice. One that only they'd be able to hear. There's a power breaker in the nearby room, right? Cut the power, kill the lights. Do it, Lara lives. Tell anyone I helped you, you die. I didn't turn over to them. I didn't stop. I just lightly said this as I walked by. Then I kept moving. Hopefully one of them were listening to me. And sure enough, I heard a set of footsteps moving. How are they going to cut the breaker like I asked? Awesome. It meant I had a limited amount of time to get in position. Better hurry up. Except I couldn't alter my speed without arousing suspicion. So I just casually paced towards Lara, tied up next to Zauchi and Xia. Paced right past them. And I turned to the left and began walking right behind them. I had already established that I was just pacing by myself for a while. I mean, that's what I legitimately had been doing for a bit. So this shouldn't be suspicious. Question was, what's the distance I'm looking for? Let's see. Minded the space between myself and the chair. How many steps in that direction? How many now? What about now? Now? And now? God, what was taking so long? Breaker box shouldn't be far. I should have told them to hurry. If this takes any longer, I'd pass right by them. Probably not enough time to pace in this direction again without being more overt. Does it really need to happen? Click! Just what I needed. One of Lara's supporters followed through. Lights in the V-Hall all cut off at once. Everyone was temporarily blinded. Emphasis on the temporary. There were some windows, doors, etc. Light would make its way in before too long. People's eyes would adjust before too long. I didn't need long. I needed exactly a couple of seconds. Okay, we're doing it. Alright, let's freaking go. Let's do this. Immediately I began bolting towards Lara. Took the number of steps I had counted them out in my head. Hopefully I was accurate enough. 6, 5, 7, 4, 8, 6. Yes! Okay. This was the case of the 6 showed up twice, so it canceled itself out. Felt the chair. Great. Just rushing over, I pulled out the knife I had stuffed in my pocket. See, bringing a gun kinda felt like overkill. But I'm not stupid. Always have some backups. A simple knife afforded me a lot of options. In combat. At times like this. Darkness, I tried cutting through the ropes. Hopefully I wouldn't stab Lara. If I did, oops. Slash stab. Slice rip. Slash cut. Great. Not too much effort, I was able to break the ropes. I don't know how I got that. However, I felt a force coming to my left. One of the guards was blindly reaching out. Time to act quick. Uh-oh. Quick action, quick action. Punch, knee, kick, headbutt, knee, tackle, charge. Oh shit. Punch, knee, kick, headbutt, tackle, knee, charge, knee. Threw a knee blindly. Ended up contacting something. Heard a shout of pain, and that was that. Alright, exit strategy now. Sprint, flee, grab, run. Sprint, hide, grab. Oh shit. Run, sprint, grab, hide. Flee. Is it run? Run. Shit. Flee, grab, run, sprint, hide, grab. Grab. Grabbed out to where Lara should be and felt something that seemed to be an arm. That'd have to work. Gripped tightly and began running in that direction in the direction of the front exit. Heard a higher pitched shout. Must be Lara. She had no idea what was happening. The idea of being grabbed and pulled in a direction must not have seemed too appealing. However, either she caught on quick, or she felt truly out of option, because after a second of resistance, the arm began running in the same direction as me. Great. Ambush, run. Turn, run. Stop. Ran as fast as possible toward the entrance. At this point, there was less memory and a bit of light coming through the bottom of the top of the door. At this point, I could see where we were going. Great. Also meant that people's eyes were likely readjusting. Wouldn't have a lot of time. That's fine. Also might be abandoning the Thane character here and now. I wasn't doing this thoughtlessly. I bluffed my way through everything before this. I had left myself enough pieces to use. Just to make my last and greatest lie as Thane. We'd see if it stuck. Regardless, that was in the future. For now, I was running. I had reached the door. I burst through. Shit, alright, off we win. Just like that, Lara and I were in the outside world. What the hell? Keep running. Let go of Lara as a sign of trust and kept running away from the V-Hall. Lara's face was confused and scared and annoyed, but through it all she kept running in my direction. What's going on? What are you going to... I'm not going to do anything. You are going to escape. You're welcome. I don't... Huh? Why? After everything, why are you saving my ass like this? Why, huh? Let's just say I'm paying it forward. Actually, that's stupid. I'm doing this for myself, like always. It helps me if you don't die here. I don't get it. You don't need to. Look. I took out the crumpled sheet of paper, and I handed it to Lara as we continued to run. Contact this person. I know you don't trust me, but if you want your best bet at making out of this situation not only alive, but ahead, they're the person to contact. Really? So what, can I trust them? They can be difficult, but I trust they'll know what to do. So Thane / Mercury / possibly Kane gave Lara Eris's contact info. More than me or you, at any rate. I don't have the slightest idea what's going on, but thanks. And like that, Lara picked up her pace. For my part, I slowed down. Till eventually I came to a stop, and Lara made her escape. Well then, well then, well then. How about that, huh? Personally, I'm impressed. Why? How to go about this? Ah, I see it. So you're familiar with the trolley problem? I know, it's a cliché, relax, I'm going somewhere with this. Simple stuff, there's 5 people on one trolley track, 1 person on another. You flip a switch, you redirect the trolley to hit 1 person. Should you flip the switch? Obviously, yes. Pretty much everybody says that you're not unique for being utilitarian in the easiest context. Then we have the follow-up that the philosophers love to follow up with. What if you could stop a trolley going to run into 5 people by pushing a fat person onto the tracks yourself? Ooh, now it's different. Now people don't want to do the utilitarian thing. What a clever trap. How intelligent these question askers must be. What a load of horseshit. People change their minds, not because of any culpability argument. They change their minds because in this scenario you're just pushing a dude onto some trolley tracks. In what world is that the rational line of thought? You wouldn't know that shoving this person in front of the trolley would stop it. And if you did, you wouldn't trust yourself enough to know that you're right. In all likelihood, if you pushed the fat person, you'd just be killing 6 people instead of 5. The question is dumb. By the way, why did the person you shoved have to be fat? No, it's not because the fat person could block the trolley, because that's not how anything works. At first I was unsure if his body would actually stop the trolley, but then I remembered Tom had been hitting up the Steak Shack recently. Pretty often, and I figured I'd chance it. I think philosophers just like killing fat people. I digress. The point is the question has some issues. I actually think the better follow-up question is this. You are a famous and talented surgeon. In your hospital, you have 5 patients dying of critical diseases. 1 has an infected heart, another infected lungs, a 3rd an infected spleen, and so on. You're out of organ transplants, and the patient will die if they don't receive immediate help. At the same time, you have 1 patient doing a normal checkup, perfectly healthy, with 5 clean organs ready for the taking. So then you kill the poor schmuck to save the other 5. Yes, this sets the stage much better. You have time to deliberate. You're an expert, you can be sure this will work. You can get away with it too. As a medical genius, you could make the healthy patient look as though they passed through normal causes. So, become a killer to save 5 lives. The question isn't a utilitarian one. That's already been settled back with the trolley. All 6 of these people did nothing wrong. The ones with diseased organs just had bad luck. The right thing to do is absolutely to sacrifice the one to save the 5. The question is, can you live with yourself if you do it? It's a question of agency. Agency is an important thing to have. It's kind of a relief that Thane / Mercury chose agency here. We like watching people with agency. I mean, imagine a story about someone who gets kidnapped, forced into a dangerous situation, and reacts the whole time. Total snooze fest, right? I don't want to see that. It's one thing to control your own reactions. It's another thing to have the power to influence others proactively. It is that second trait that we all admire, really. We covet it because it's something most people lack. Most people don't have agency in their life. They just wander from day to day to day, reacting to their schedule. Which brings us back to Thane and why I'm content. Letting Lara die was the easy thing to do. The passive thing. No harm, no foul. Neither sit her down. But Thane decided to take agency into their own hands and make a proactive move. And that's the initiative I love to see. Might they have had an ulterior motive for doing this? Yeah, that's fine, I don't really care about that. I just care that Thane played by their own terms. And that's why I was impressed. Oh, just in case it's not clear, I'd obviously make the right choice in the surgeon scenario. I'd kill the person with the infected heart and use their other organs to save the other 4. Ah. Fair enough. Easier to disguise their death, you see. Interesting. Thane's final chapter is not jade-locked. Interesting. I have no clue how he survived that fight scene, but you'd love to see it. I, for one, love to see. I particularly enjoyed how that turned out, I think. So, Devon's Chapter 6 is probably going to be interesting. Ultimately, Thane's Chapter 6 became a precursor to Eris's Chapter 6, in a sense. Which is intriguing. We'll see where that goes next time, though. Until then.